Hi, I'm Carol Jurgensen-Sheets, aka Carol the Coach, and I am here to help you whether you are a sex addict or a partner. I'm here to help you get healthy. So today we're going to be talking about the 4 types of communication, and you get to decide which one do you use the most. 3 of them are not particularly healthy. The 4th is the choice that will take you to a better relationship with your spouse and will improve communication, as well as it'll help your spouse know what you feel, what you need, and what you believe. Now, that sounds so simple, doesn't it? But truly, in my work with all couples, let alone addicts and partners, what I know to be true is that communication is very tough. And when addiction is rampant, communication decreases or it changes. And it's pathological. It's not healthy. And so I want you to follow these guidelines as you're in your recovery process, whether you're the addict or you're setting new boundaries with your addict. Okay, the 4 types of communication. You decide which one you use the most. The first one is passive. When you're passive, oftentimes you just allow things to happen to you. You don't say anything about it. You don't feel like it'll make a difference, or you don't feel like you have a voice, or you don't want to deal with conflict. And so you let things occur without anybody understanding how you really feel. And although passivity is in itself not a horrible thing, it really doesn't contribute to the relationship because you're not letting your partner or your spouse know how you feel. And so I'm going to ask you, do you feel like you tend to be passive in your communication? Do you let things go? And of course, there are times when people who are passive just repress and suppress over and over and over again, and then at some point, anger wells up and becomes explosive. And it probably is not proportionate to whatever brought it out to begin with, but it's because you've been stuffing it. So ask yourself honestly, do I communicate in a passive way, in a passive manner? Okay, that's this one. Now, way over here on the other side, we have aggressive. And aggressive is oftentimes a way to keep people away. You yell, you're critical, you put people down, you keep them away by intimidating or bullying them. And people who behave in aggressive ways ultimately are wounded, and they're hurt, and they're afraid, and so they overexert their power. And if you have a tendency to put people down in communicating how you feel and what you want and what you believe, you have to work on this because this is incredibly unhealthy, and it will make people afraid of you, and it will keep them away from you. Okay, so are you passive? Do you communicate passively or aggressively? Now, the next one is a little bit trickier because the next one can at times dupe other people, and that is called passive-aggressive. And when somebody is passive-aggressive, they don't always communicate how they really feel, but instead go around the person and get what they want. You know, I'm thinking of a teenager that I worked with who was a beautiful example of passive-aggressiveness. When her parents tried to control her and, perhaps took her phone away or took her privileges away, she would, within 3 days, do something really passive-aggressive. She might grab her mother's diamond necklace and take it, and then act like she didn't know where it was. She didn't touch it. Why was her mother bothering her? And she watched as her mother showed a lot of angst because her diamond necklace was missing. And then she'd put it back. Or she'd hide her father's keys. And of course he'd ask everybody in the house, where are my keys? And he'd pace back and forth, and he didn't know where his other set was. He was really uncomfortable. It really interfered with his functioning. But she had them. So she got her parents back behind their back because they controlled her. Or I'm thinking about the woman who was severely abused by her husband physically. And she sat with me, and she sat with me, and she put up with it, and she put up with it, and she put up with it. And one day she was sitting on the couch cross-legged, and she had this glow, and she was happy, and she was light. And I, of course, thought she had left this man because he had been fairly consistent in his brutalizing her. Well, I said to her, "What are you so happy about?" And she said, "Nothing." And I go, "Oh, no. I've known you too long. What's going on? What's different?" Thinking she would say, "I left him." And she took a deep breath, and she gave me a big smile, and she said, "I am now cleaning the house to his expectations." And my heart sunk because one of the things he was rigid and militant about was the fact that she didn't clean the house properly. And so I said to her, "Oh, you are now doing it exactly as he wants you to do?" And she said, "Well, yeah, kind of, sort of." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, I now clean the toilet bowl with his toothbrush." So she had figured out a way to get her anger out, do what he said, and get him back behind his back. She literally brushed the toilet bowl with his toothbrush. Well, I wasn't happy about that decision for two reasons. One, what I know to be true is if he found out she was doing this, he'd kill her. And two, I don't want somebody to come from a passive-aggressive way. Well, it took us about 8 more months, but she eventually left him. And that's what she needed to do. I really never believe people should stay together if there's physical abuse. Nor do I feel people should stay together if there's emotional abuse. You know, the kind of abuse where you're name called and put down and criticized. But it really changed her demeanor. It really made her happy that she was getting him back. Okay, that's passive-aggressive. And if you think about it, in relationship, in coupleship, oftentimes it's easy to be passive-aggressive by getting into some sort of altercation and walking away and not talking for about 3 days to show that person that he or she is not going to treat you that way. Or passive-aggressive because somebody doesn't get their way and they go out to the bar and they drink. They drink because they know it's going to affect the person that they love. So ask yourself, are you passive-aggressive? Do you get somebody back behind their back, or do you get them back in a way that you know will hurt them and then you act innocent? What? What's the problem? Oftentimes, passive-aggressive behavior is very much like gaslighting. Now, the fourth type of communication is assertiveness. And assertiveness means that you are clear and direct about what you think, how you feel, and what you believe. It is a way to be authentic, to have a voice, to share your feelings, but it doesn't mean you get what you want. It doesn't necessarily mean you get your way. But at least you can stand strong and say, I let my partner, I let my spouse know why that bothered me, know what my limits are, know what my boundaries are. And I see this from both perspectives. Certainly, when a recovering sex addict is doing a good job and his wife is triggered by something, his first inclination is to get indignant because he's changing, he's better. And yet I always encourage him, empathize with her. She's so wounded, you've hurt her so badly. These triggers are involuntary. You've got to go with the flow and know it's the collateral damage that you've caused. And yet, I encourage an addict to make those statements of empathy, to ask if there's anything they can do, and then to share how they're really feeling. So that might look like, I can see you are really triggered, and I am so sorry because I know that despite the fact that I have really worked on changing and I'm improving, this is going to take a long time because I have hurt you so badly, and I am so sorry. And I want you to know I see that. And then this is where assertiveness comes in. However, when you criticize me and you go back to telling me what a screw-up I am and how I'm a bastard and how you'll never trust me and you hate my guts and you wish I were dead, I have to tell you I'm going to walk away because I can't deal with those negative remarks now that I'm working on changing. So just know when I walk away, I'm not walking away from you because I don't love you. Know that I'm walking away because I get how much I've hurt you. But if you can't stop attacking me, I got to take care of myself. Okay, that's from the addict's point of view. Now here's the partner's assertiveness. I know you're getting better. I can see it every day. You're using the tools. You're making better choices. But I gotta tell you, when you forget to call me, or when you tell me you're somewhere, but you don't tell me you went 3 other places, I gotta let you know that I'm gonna have some boundaries around this. And I'm not gonna want to hang out with you for at least 24 hours. I'm gonna take care of me. I'm gonna hang out with my sister. I'm gonna go to a movie. And I'm going to increase my self-care because I've got to figure out a way to regulate my emotions because my body has kept score of the damage that you've done. So just know that self-care is going to be at the top of my list. And I don't necessarily want you to take it personal, but I want you to understand how I feel. Okay, remember this, that assertiveness is how you feel, what you want, and what you believe. And I wish it was an automatic you're going to get what you want, but it isn't. But it does build your self-esteem. It does make you feel good about communicating with respect, with integrity, and with self-love. And that's assertiveness. So strive for that. And I know it'll make a difference in your relationship, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, and no matter what you've been through. Sorry, you know who that is. That's Boo. And don't give up. These skills will make a difference in your life. Have a great week, and I will see you soon.